Welcome to the Business Empowerment Podcast, the show that keeps you in the know with what you need to know in business and technology and for yourself so you can grow. Welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Rob House, and my co-host, Wilton Rogers, got insight for miles and miles. We'll give you what you need to know. Get ready for the Business Empowerment Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world, we are back.
We're back.
We are back. Another episode of the Business Empowerment Podcast. Insights, man, on business, technology, and leadership from some of these amazing leaders.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. It's good to be back too. Feels like I've been gone for a minute.
Well, you have been gone for a minute. You've been gone for let's see, I don't know, a few days traveling in a new direction for a new destination. Hey,
yeah, man. not only that, I haven't been on the podcast for like 2 weeks, man.
I think you dropped in the last week.
Did I?
Yeah, I think you dropped in the last week. What's up, Mr. Kennedy? Good to see you here, and thank you all for joining. Wherever you're joining in from, live or replay, put it in the comments. Whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, we're all over the place. It looks like wherever you are, let's find out where you are, because we are like connected, interconnected, man, like never before.
Exactly. But you know what? Our systems are connected. So like when they post, if they post on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or Twitch or any of these, you know, not everybody can see the rolling comments because they're coming from all over the different places. The views, even though we have views from different places, you still can't see them all. But it's all good. We'll figure it out someday.
Yeah, right? It's all good. How you doing, Liz? Good afternoon. She's watching live. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, and don't forget to say where you're from too. This is always great. We got some folks from because Africa and Chicago are like in the same living room. It's like really fantastic, man. Listen. This gentleman we got today, this is a little new. This is newer. This is somebody who has some deep insight on technology, built some companies, but is also has some cyber insight. We'll call it.
That's awesome, and I'm very excited, man. I just know a little bit about what you told me about him, and because I've been, like I said, I'm still in boxes, man. I'm still moving into this. You know, I'm still trying to get things settled over here, but. Just on what you took, what I know, this is going to be a good one, man. I'm ready to get into his head and see what he's been up to and get some feedback from him and get his knowledge and share that knowledge with us. So
yeah. So when we get back after this, we're going to bring Albert Scylla up, and I'm actually going to ask him. You know what? Because I see some names here. I see his last name on LinkedIn, and I see the company name. And he started another company. This guy's doing some stuff. I want to know. I want to know what's going on, man. We're going to lift up the hood and see what all the magic is all about in a second.
Simply automate. Automation made simple. Simply automate. Simply automate, automation made simple. Simply automate, simple.
You and your jingles, man. I love it.
Woo! Albert, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, Rob, my pleasure to be here.
We are happy to hear you. We're happy to hear you, see you, and we got a good internet connection, so now the world can hear your message. And thank you for being on this show, and thank you for doing what you're doing.
No, thanks for having me here, guys.
Well, LinkedIn is this wonderful spot where, like, strangers can get connected, and then all of a sudden, strangers can get connected and do things and build things together that literally transforms the world. Like, it's happening. It sounded like it was the beginning of some movie that wasn't even real, but that's the real life we're living in, man. And I'm watching the great things that you're doing. So before we go any further, so Scylla, and tell me what your tell me what your full name is, because on LinkedIn, I got two companies here, but then Stefan is your name listed. So I know the company, Skylar. Why don't you give us the breakdown and give us an understanding of how all this started? Because I see the excitement. I see so many people. When I put this post up yesterday, as soon as I put it up, literally within 6 minutes, it was a flood of people. And a lot of them I didn't know. A lot of my, I was like, wow, okay. So people are excited to hear what you got to say. So introduce yourself, my friend, who you are and why you do what you do.
Yeah, sure thing. So my full name is Albert Stepanyan. I'm Armenian originally. So migrated from Armenia like long time ago, around 15 years ago. So I'm coming from military background, was involved in AI and security consulting globally. So I used to do security operations and consulting in Mexico and Colombia and Middle East, and essentially in the United States, right? So what Scala is doing, so yes, you are right. So we're growing really rapidly. So that's how you get all these responses. And we are one of the leading physical security threat detection solutions that utilize artificial intelligence to connect to existing cameras, sensors, and other devices that are in place. And what we do, we detect objects, actions, and anomaly behaviors, right? So we can detect things as active shooter situations. We can detect suspects. We can track them within the facility. We can detect potential fights, vandalism. We can also basically prevent shoplifting cases in the retail stores, identify intruders during the sports games, identify missing kids, and everything is done using software. So you don't need to buy any new hardware. It just connects to your existing security cameras, and that's it, right? So you get all the capabilities in place straight from day one. And this is what we do. So we are 3 years old, and we grew from 0 to 65 people now globally. We operate based out of Austin, Texas, and we have a couple of other offices. We have one based out of Iowa and one in Eastern Europe, Armenia. So that's where I'm coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we do. So essentially, that's also the secret behind my surname.
That's
Man.
awesome. That's awesome. So you have a business based in Austin, Texas too, huh?
Yeah, that's the headquarters. So we operate out of Texas. That's where we keep the lead engineers. That's where the AI is being trained, and that's where basically we sell the solution from.
That's great. That's great. You're in my neighborhood now.
Yep, you just moved there. Rob told me.
Yes, yes.
Silicon Hill, man.
Silicon Hills.
That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about, man. So this is interesting. So you got your products. What products and solutions are the hottest ones right now for Skylar? Like what is the most what's the most things in demand like by your customers?
So we have two types of solutions which basically solve different types of problems. So obviously we started as a gun detection company, and this is up to this point, like it has the highest demand, specifically in the places and regions that we are working. There is a huge issue with gun violence, right? And Skyway is essentially doing its job. So when we connect to the camera, we can identify a person with a gun, identify whether that's an active shooter situation or
Yeah.
not, if that's gun is used against a crowd of people or other people, and then track the suspect and then give all that information to the private security guards or law enforcement. But gun detection, yes, it's under huge demand, but also Skywa does a lot of, let's say, public safety. So we do a lot of stuff with person search. That's one of our latest products. And essentially, let's say you are during a baseball game or a basketball game, right? And then you have a missing child, and then the parents are lost, they are in distress, they are coming to the security room, they are showing the picture of the kid to the security guards, and using Skywa, we can search that kid forensically in real time and identify where that kid is. Maybe that kid was kidnapped, or maybe it's just lost, and then specifically pinpoint the location of that child, which is essentially solving a lot of issues for parents, for liability for the security guards, and doing a lot of good stuff. And this is not only around that. We have almost 8 solutions within different areas, right? Retail security, industrial security like smoke and fire, industrial safety, PPE detection, etc. So all in all, like a wide range of solutions that security teams utilize nowadays with Skyla.
That's incredible. I think that's as not only definitely as a parent, being able to have technology like that quick to identify something, with us, we don't like to leave our kids out of our sight, right? But for that second, that you can just turn your head and they'll be gone. Being able to show a picture, send it to them, scan the videos all over the place, and figure out where that kid can be identified, where it's located. I mean, it's amazing to see what technology now does. Even a few years, 5-10 years ago, you couldn't be able to do something like this, right? And all of a sudden, it happens that quick, and you don't have to spend hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars in order to get this done. Because I think it's been around, but when you see it in the movies, you see it in bigger organizations. Like they invest a lot of time and money and resources into doing this. Having a business like this to be able to go and approach people and say, hey, you know what, this is what we have to offer. That could be a game changer. Do you see a lot of businesses, even here in Austin? Let's say you go down to Texas Stadium, whatever, right? This would be like a perfect opportunity for the stadium to invest in something like this, because that's huge. And something comes up, people come up missing on a regular basis. More than likely, they're just missing. They're not necessarily kidnapped in most cases. But be able to have a service like this immediately is a game changer, and it makes you feel as a parent more comfortable knowing that this is out there. You can track your loved ones down that quick. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, exactly. You are completely right. So we call ourselves the Netflix of security, because we build the future now, and then the Sky is behind it. So essentially, you can use your old cameras and devices. You don't have to change them every couple of years now and then, right? So then you can just use Scylla and then continue getting better content, faster content, and essentially new functionality that will help you solve 3 issues, right? Well, first of all, it's human life. Second is liability for your institution, and then also return on investment, save costs. Because as you said, you don't have to invest millions of dollars in order to achieve the same. And specifically in Texas also, we get a lot of traction. So healthcare institutions, sports arenas, right? As you said, schools as well. We get a lot of demand because we can nail down all these 3 points and pain points for the institutions. And this is also embedded in our mission. So we mostly work with the private security companies. We have government customers as well, but main focus is private sector. So whether it's a local security team within the enterprise or private security companies that provide security services, this is our niche, right? So we want to democratize the security space and bring more tools and better tools to the private sector, because we believe that's where they become more efficient, right? Because law enforcement is essentially have their hands tied, right? And also they don't have many people, they don't have the best processes in place, etc. And that's where private security can come in and then essentially work closer both with the society to provide public safety and also with the enterprises.
Makes total sense.
Man, this is amazing. This is leveling up our security in all the areas that are important to us. For me, especially our children. This is just this is fantastic, man.
Well, I think it gives you a sense of comfort knowing that you have something like this. You know what I mean? That way, as a backup, it's there. You don't want it to have it is great. To use it, you don't want to use it, but knowing it's there and that you have instant access to it, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, man. Albert, that's amazing. So, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want you to tell us, going to share with us about this 500% increase in growth, because that's pretty phenomenal. So when we come back, I want you to share that with us, okay?
Yeah.
Be back in a second.
Yeah, sure.
Business burnout can be so overwhelming. So many things to do and not enough time to do them. Deadlines to meet with time ticking away quickly. Multiple repetitive tasks that must be completed every single day. What if you could cut that list in half? What if you could automate 50, 60, 70% of what you do every day? You would have less stress. You could get more done in less time. And your company would make more money. Less stress and more money? See how RPA can change your day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And less stress, yeah, that's definitely a thing we're looking for. We're looking for less stress. And we know that automation automated the right way, when you automate tasks that are redundant and repetitive, we know that takes the stress away from people because they don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
And we can also take stress away by making people feel more secure. And that's what Albert focuses on, man.
Mhm.
And I think, you know, I want to kind of go into first. I want you to share how, this 500% increase company growth. That is phenomenal. First of all, we kind of share that. And first of all, how, and then I know there's some leadership in that. And I want to kind of talk about your leadership style and how you're doing that. But first, I'm giving you the ball now. Kind of dribble a little bit. Tell us, how you increased together as a company 500% over a year, Albert.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So it all started in 2018. So when we were doing the security project in Mexico. So I have a partner who is based out of Mexico City, Alfonso. I have a partner who is based out of Los Angeles, Glendale, and then I have a couple of partners who were based out of Europe. So our technical team, essentially our CTO and technical co-founder. And then I had this idea, and I said, look, we want to automate that. We cannot provide those services to every and each neighborhood in Mexico. And essentially, I want to solve the issue of active shooter situation. Like everybody thought that we are crazy because getting in a super regulated space where big companies play, right? All those big companies have their customers in place, they have the processes in place. Essentially, the market is theirs, right? So we thought like we should democratize that. So we believe that we are like Prometheus, the old Greek titan who stole fire from the gods, and he pissed off basically the old Greek gods, right, by challenging the order. Essentially, we treat the old Greek gods, the large security companies, who basically tend to identify who should be safe or who should not, right, on their own terms. So we said, no, we should make security accessible to everybody, right? So the public safety, peaceful communities, neighborhoods, and also private sector, they should have the best tools to be able to fight against active shooters, terror attacks, whatever, right? So gangs on the streets, etc. And that's where the Skyway is coming from. So Skyway essentially is coming from the Greek mythology because it was identifying which ship should cross the narrow channel, which should not. So always connected.
Yeah.
And essentially we started as 4 people, right? So now we are almost 60 within 2 years' time. And nobody believed in us, nobody believed in our idea that we could basically get into the super regulated space and then become a market leader within the startups of our size and scale. But essentially, step by step, by creating a good culture, good company mission, we could cultivate all the movement around us and then get the best people on board and then start moving. We got investors to trust in us. We got people to trust in us, and that was the secret of growth. And then last year, when the company already started to accelerate, then suddenly the COVID-19 the crisis started, and then everything started to lock down, right? And the schools started to close, which were one of our largest customers, right, because of the gun violence, etc. But we were creative enough, so a couple of sleepless nights, and we were creative enough to create new products, which essentially started to serve larger audiences, like intruder detection, false alarm filtering, facial recognition, etc. And then that essentially helped us to grow. So I can tell you that two critical parts helped us to grow. It's that nobody believed in us that we can get into this space. So that was a kick that we started to move. And then the COVID as well. So because if not COVID, we would just go and sell to schools, and that's it. But when we understood that basically our main target audience is just closed because of the crisis, we started to be creative and then started to invest more time and money on creating more products. So that was essentially two boosts that helped us grow.
Oh, this is pure gold, dude. You're right.
It is.
Crisis, man, to an opportunity. Matthew said, "This is pure gold, man. Perfect mindset when stepping into an established space." Yeah, man.
It is. It is. So I'm glad you brought that up. So a lot of people were skeptical or didn't believe in what you were doing. In the technology space, you get a lot of that, right? Because people are very skeptical. It's not going to work. Whatever. That's way above what it's going to be way too much for us. A lot of negativity hits you, right? How do you push yourself through that when you have people telling you what was the motivating factor to say, you know what, we're going to get this done, although everybody's pushing us is pushing us away, saying this is not going to work? What pushed you forward to continue doing it, and what made you get over that hump? How did you get over that hump?
Yeah, that's really tough, especially in the beginning. We didn't have funds, so we were investing our own money, which we earned during the consulting practice, doing security projects here and there, right, etc. So you basically spend your own money, but what helps you that you have 3 or 4 people around you, which you promised and they believed in your mission, right? And then essentially keeping your reputation in front of those people that sacrificed their corporate jobs and joined you, because we have people that joined us from the best universities globally, right? And they change their good paying jobs to join a startup which has nothing, and you pay them from their pocket, but also you risk their future, right? Because they have families and you promise them that this will be successful, right? So essentially the thing that you promise to your own people and then they believed in your mission actually makes you stronger and then work more towards not basically just fulfilling to, you have to fulfill what you promised them, right? So this
Yeah,
is what kept
yeah.
us going in the beginning, and that helped us grow essentially and get more people around us.
Man, it's what's called
Yeah,
internal ethics, ladies and gentlemen.
that's it.
Internal ethics, and those attributes, that integrity, that dedication, all that stuff goes a long ways. That's the fact that you care about that not just says a lot about you, but it says a lot about the culture that you're creating and
Hmm.
that you have the intention to cultivate. And that type of energy is, well, all energy is transmittable, but that type of energy, when it transmits, it then inspires people to do the same kind of activity.
Hmm.
So the very thing that you're leading with, that becomes the company culture. And this is what has been the reason for the growth, ladies and gentlemen. It's been the culture of the company. Yes, it's been the season. Trust me, a lot of companies went down and didn't come back up. But a lot of companies figured out how to do this word called a pivot. And they learn how to adjust and they learn how to meet the market where it was at. That's really exciting what you did, especially, considering how the schools shut down and you were able to still, move forward like that. Really fantastic. It's a really good note for everyone to notice, because when it comes to building companies and a lot of times we think it's just about the grind, it's about the build, it's about doing things as fast as we can and make as much as we can, and we kind of forget some of those components, and that's the foundation. So
That is, and I think it's a great. I mean, you brought up a great point. It's like, you know, you grew because you know you had people counting on, trusted in in your process, trusted in what you were doing, and they came on board. It's like, hey, you know what? They have families. They got to support their families. So that's a motivating factor alone. But knowing that you have that as more of a push, I think probably got you over that hill. Saying if it was just you alone, like okay, it probably may not have been as as forward as it is now. It's like if you have people that are relying on a paycheck to feed their families and stuff, like okay, you know what, there's going to be some long hours of sleepless nights for us to get this done. But obviously, you've been around for 3 years, from 4 people to over to about 60 people in a matter of a couple of years. That's pretty amazing. That's real amazing, actually. And multiple locations. You have one here. You have them all over. Different locations in different parts of the world. Pretty impressive in such a short period of time.
very short period of time. You know, what are some of the integrations that Scylla has? Like, can this technology work on any equipment on your client's purchase, or like does it work on any equipment, or your clients do they need to purchase like additional hardware when using the technology? Like, can you kind of explain that technical question?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we have a couple of models. Essentially, customers can opt in to choose cloud only, then they don't have to do anything, right? So they just get the plugin from the marketplace, or because we have integrations with most of the video management systems available out there in the world. That's Genetec, that's Axis, that's Milestone, and then more than 10 integrations. So most of the customers who are already in enterprise or in security, they are using some kind of camera provider or a video management system. They can already use Scylla because we have integrations with those. And if they opt in for cloud, they don't have to do anything, right, at all. Some customers, because of their privacy concerns, or it's a basically very regulated environment, they choose to go on premise. Then they can opt into the hybrid devices, like it's a small device that they can connect and then stream the video or the detections to cloud, and then get all the reporting there. But Scala is, I would say, essentially fully privacy compliant. So we are GDPR and CCPA compliant. We don't store any data. So what we do, we detect threat real time, or we forensically search real time based on customers' premises. So we don't get any of the customer's data. That also gets us completely apart because we believe in ethics in AI and surveillance, right? So and then we completely follow it.
Love it, love it. It makes it a lot easier for people to jump on board, knowing that security is there for sure, knowing that everything's safe and their information is secure.
Yeah, talking about information, so we recently also signed a couple of third-party providers such as Okta, which is one of the leading digital identity management solution globally. And we basically do not charge our customers more than we used to be charging, though we have to pay to Okta. This tells that we care about the privacy and also the information safety of our customers. So they continue paying the same license fee for Scala Cloud or on-premise, but they get the whole security of the leading cybersecurity and digital identity management providers globally already embedded inside Scala solutions.
That's right.
That is good. That is good.
Where you're at right now, obviously you've had a big growth over the last couple of years, right? Where do you see yourself here in the next few years? I mean, obviously, with the growth that you're seeing, the 500+% that you're growing, where do you see yourself going here in the next couple of years?
So we basically want to grow as fast as we are growing now, and we grew for the last 12 months. So we are now pre-Series A. We raised around $5 million from market capital and a couple of investor syndicates last year for the seed round, essentially making us one of the most highest funded security startups globally in the seed space. So we plan to go Series A next year and then essentially spend more money on growing the operations in the behavior space. So we want to not only detect the threat, but also identify potentially dangerous behavior, such as, for example, detecting people before they fall in hospitals, right? Because the issue we're facing now, Scala can now detect people when they have already fallen, but when the adult patient falls, essentially in a couple of years, if he doesn't get a proper medical treatment, his condition deteriorates, right? And then people essentially die, which is unfortunate. So we want to identify those people before they fall and then do a lot of preemptive detections, right? Predictive behavior. We also want to identify potentially dangerous behavior to identify active shooter situations, right? Because now we detect when we see the gun during the event, right? But we want to detect before the event happens. So by the way people walk, by the way people talk, but at the same time, we have to be mindful on biases, right? Because we don't want to identify, detect, and essentially people that are not going to do anything wrong. So this is a kind of the thin line we don't want to cross, but at the same time, the whole industry will be moving into predictive behavior. And the good thing is that we have our own ethical boundaries, right? So we don't detect, for example, ethnicity like some of our competitors do. We don't detect race, we don't detect gender, we don't detect age. And we are always including racial bias in all the trainings of AI that we have, which we don't see on the market a lot because the companies just are, many companies are carrying on releasing something fast and selling, but we are very mindful and we are kind of ethical by design. So the new version of the website is going to come soon, and we have a separate page just dedicated to ethics, the company mission and values, right? Where we want to be and where we shouldn't be. And from our ethical purposes also, we always communicate to different entities that Scala should never be used if the people that will be using it will use it against their own citizens or violating basic human rights or for the persecution of people that are against their own political will, right? So that's why we tend to sell to private sector only. And we always control the end user relationship where we know where Scala is used and for what purposes.
That's wow. So on the predictive behavior, so let's say you don't want to be biased, and you want to make sure that, let's say an active shooter, right? There was one in Colorado not too long, well, not active, right before you heard about that, pretty sure, right? They were in a hotel room. There was 4 of them. There was three men and a woman, right? And they were caught with a bunch of guns. It was caught early because someone saw them. But let's say someone didn't see them, right? does the AI already have a set of behaviors already built in? How do you identify? Let's keep an eye on that person. Let's make sure that we. How does that happen?
So we have two functionalities, which is identifying suspicious behavior and also doing person search, right? Where we can track the person by his appearance. We call it similarity search, like the way he is dressed that day, right? Or the way he moves, the way he looks. And we can also identify suspicious behavior. I can bring you the example of the MGM shooter, right? So for example, a suspicious behavior for us would be detecting a person entering with a couple of bags into the elevator and then into his room, and then going out without those bags, right? And he was doing that for many days in a row, right? So this is already a suspicious behavior for us that could trigger an alarm to the MGM security guards and saying, look, you have to go and check this guy because we have noticed that he's bringing in big bags and then not going out without with those bags, right? So this is a suspicious behavior for us. So
That's good, man.
That makes 100% sense. I mean, it totally makes sense. Like, okay,
Great example.
walks in with 2 bags, comes out with nothing. All of a sudden, he goes back with some more bags, comes down with nothing. It's like, okay, wait a minute. And also the size of the bags could be like, okay, well, or the way the bags are. That's amazing. It's amazing how they can do that with every individual. Because even as a human eye can't do that, right? If you're looking at a monitor like this, you're trying to identify them. That person leaves. And once they leave up to the room, you might see them, right? And you might not see them come back down because they're too busy looking at other monitors or whatever. Just because AI can identify that, I mean, that's huge. Because that's definitely something that a human can identify. Because I guarantee you, all those thousands of cameras that they had at MGM, when they look back, I'm pretty sure they saw the track of his whole trail of what he did, right? But that was after the fact. Being that you can already identify that before the fact, it's amazing. I mean, that's even unheard of. I mean, who would have even thought of that can even happen, right? Unless you really know about AI. So that's pretty amazing.
No, absolutely, yeah. So this is what I'm saying. We have to be mindful, right? So, for example, detecting people entering with bags and then showing suspicious behavior because those bags never leave their room, right? So this is what Scylla can already do now. We can do even more, but we don't want to kind of sell the solution until it's fully ready or we are 100% confident that there is no bias, because we don't want to identify people that haven't done anything wrong, right? Just based on emotions or behavior. Customers want that. We say no, it's not possible. If we see a distinct behavior or distinct actions with some objects on the person, then yes, but we don't want to basically accuse a wrong person. This is something we don't want to cross.
Yeah. Right.
And I love the way. Sorry, Ron.
No, good man. Listen, go ahead.
And I love the way that it's not. It doesn't go. It's not biased. It basically, you're not going to look at it at a certain culture because let's say, for example, if you're black or white or Hispanic or it doesn't matter. It doesn't read your ethnicity. It reads the person, the body language, their actions, and that's what I think was so important because we judge. The minute we see people, we can judge. Like, okay, wait a minute, let's keep an eye on them. And that person, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10 is you're judging them wrong if you're thinking something bad, right? Well, the person that ran in front of them could have been the person that you should have been looking at. You would have 10 times out of 10, you would have never pictured that person doing it. By having a system where you can't do it by race, I think is huge. And you do it by action and by movement. That's amazing. That's pretty cool.
No, exactly. Yeah, like we want to be careful with that, and then I think everybody should be mindful that different cultures, different. For example, originally when I was a kid, Armenians are like Italians. We speak with hands. We like to kiss each other when we meet, right, etc. This is very emotional. I don't want to be jailed because I'm emotional, right? I'm not so emotional now, but I used to be, right? So we understand that, right? And we don't want to have those.
That's good.
That's
right.
Good, man. That's a good point.
Makes total sense.
Man. But Albert, who is your perfect client?
So chief security officer of a sports arena would be a perfect client, right? Like Staples or Major Baseball League, right? So the superintendents or the local police for the school district, also basically a perfect client for us, right? A large security company which operates thousands of cameras in the field, also perfect client for us because we eliminate the human fatigue. We can detect events that a human cannot do. And essentially, think like this: those large security companies that have tons of cameras in the field, they cannot provide a good service to their end customer because they don't have enough people to look at that. And one person
Right.
can only look at a couple of cameras, but not thousands of them. Even if they keep a huge human force of hundreds of people, they still cannot do that what AI can do it alone, right? So those are the perfect customers for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think,
Woo.
you walk into one of those rooms that have all these cameras set up and you have 4 or 5 people looking at all these cameras. That's like a perfect client for you, right? It's like, you know what? We can sort of just eliminate you guys from actually having to do all this, and we'll take over from here. And you're just more of a security. And if we red light you, that means, hey, look at them and keep an eye on them. Now you have to pay more attention to them.
Exactly. So we want to empower them to make a decision, not to watch the cameras. AI can watch the cameras, but they are smarter than AI to make a decision because you don't want to leave the decision making to AI. Humans still have to make a decision, right, to avoid all the situations. But
Man, that
you don't want
sounds
a human.
good. That Albert, that sounds exactly like what we do. So we're automating people's processes so that they can then focus on things that are important, like talking to customers, bringing more value, figuring out how to solve different things, and not just head down. So it's interesting. It's like kind of the same thing, like taking the thing away so that people can focus. That's really, really interesting. Really interesting how you're coming about that. Wow.
Yeah.
Technology is we're only at the beginning. This is the beginning of it. I mean, look, you
Just
just
scratching the surface.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Albert, if you had one wish, man, this is we ask every guest this question. It's my favorite question to ask too. And it is this: if you had one wish, just one, it could be anything you want to. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you come up with it, it's gonna happen. What would that one wish be?
It's also coming from my childhood. So, like basically, when I was a kid, I used to be bullied in school a lot. Then I started doing Thai boxing. I made a lot of tattoos. I went to special forces and became a big guy that everybody started being afraid of me. But my wish would be that I don't want any person or a kid entering basically a dark place, right, in a neighborhood that they don't know and being afraid of anything. So they need to have systems like Scylla installed, and then Scylla should provide public safety to everyone and make accessible to everyone, not just important people or wealthy people or people living in good neighborhoods, but in any neighborhood, right? Kids should not be afraid, and kids should be safe going to school. And this is our wish. So we want to make the public safety accessible to everyone and all the kids around the world.
Love it.
Man, that is a fantastic, phenomenal wish that I believe is actually going to come to fruition. It's one of them wishes that's coming true.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. What's the best way for people to get in contact with you? I know we put your Anastasia put the website up, and we also put your LinkedIn page up. But what's the best way for folks to get in contact with you, with Scylla, to get connected?
Yeah, everybody can chat with me. Like even if they connect to the company webpage or through the contact form, or they can just send basically an email to me, right? So I'm always open, and I work with most of the customers personally. We travel, we consult them on how to place the cameras, what kind of security practices they should be in place. Many customers also look for our expertise, right? Because we provide them a system, but they want us also to write the procedures in place, what to do when we detect something or when there's an active shooter situation. We sometimes engage from time to time third-party trainers on how to mitigate the risks on active shooter situations or how to protect your critical infrastructure from terror attacks. And I personally do that with my team. So I'm always open. I'll be happy to help anyone. We also have a lot of contribution to the society. So sometimes from time to time, we subsidize installations specifically for schools. So if anyone needs help or I can help anyone with anything, just happy to do that.
That's great. That's great.
That's good, man. Appreciate that. That's great. Albert, who are great partners for you?
Ooh, the best
Collaborators.
part.
Yeah.
They should first of all believe in our mission, right? So we are a very mission-driven company. So if they believe in our mission and they want to go the path with us, then this is the great partner. But obviously, those partners need to have a problem that we can solve because we don't want to, or they can, they know people that introducing us to, they can solve their problem, right? So because we don't want to spend neither the partner's time nor the customer's time and sell them something, but we want to create a value for them because essentially being in security, we have to be very ethical, right? And we want to be very ethical and we want to create value for people and partners that we work with.
It's good.
Yeah. I think that's really important. I think just being able to have a service like yours available is, and people be aware of it, is so important because you're in an industry right now where scarcity is on at Mach 5, whatever it is, right? It's up there. I mean, people are really, always looking over their shoulders. I mean, they always have that, I won't say fear, but that thought, even in the stadium, something might happen. Austin here, a couple months ago, or last month, there was a shooting downtown, right? Things like that. So finding ways to say, okay, how can we avoid that? How can we avoid that? People really have to listen in, and having a solution, having someone like you, whether they own a business or know someone that owns a business or can use a service, whether it's a school, a stadium, casino, all these different places that have that monitor these type of situations. They, I think, need to reach out and say, hey, you know what? At least let me know more. How can you help us out? Right? It doesn't matter the size of it, but if like you said, if you can help them, it's the game changer right there. So I think anybody listening right now, if you know people, if you're in the business, if you're, I don't know if you're looking for sales, but if you're looking for opportunity where you have the connection to these type of businesses, you need to reach out to Albert. You really need to reach out to Scylla and get an idea, because even before this conversation, a little bit I learned about you. I read about your company. I knew a little bit, but this really enlightened me, because you do see it, and I see it. You do hear about it. I know about AI, but you don't see it on this scale, and you don't get to talk to somebody like this regularly. You have to do a lot of research, and like I said, it can be timely and costly. But knowing they can go to someone like you and just have a conversation, and you directly getting involved with them, I think is important. Knowing that they could talk to the CEO, founder of a company that can tell you exactly how we do it is important. So anybody out there that has any of those industries or any of these platforms that require this type of service, just reaching out and having that information is going to be key.
Well said. Well said. Albert, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate you. I love what you're doing. And make sure you reach out to him, founder of Scylla, making the world a better, safer place. And listen, I think we're better together, man. So let's keep on lifting each other up.
Yes.
Likewise, guys. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for having me here.
Thank you, brother. Pleasure meeting you.
Likewise.
Yeah, man. I knew it was gonna be great. I knew it was gonna be great. I envision a world where, guess what? There's no snipers, there's no shooters, there's no bombers, there's no theft. Or there's theft, there's bombers, there's shooters, there's all these things that are still available, but we're able to detect it.
Yes.
We're able to detect these jokers. You know what I'm saying? Wherever they are.
It is. I mean, what he's doing, you see it on movies. I've seen it on movies where you're like, oh, you see the AI following the person around, and you don't think, and in the back of your mind when you see the movie, it's not real, but it's real.
It's real,
and it's available. It's available. That's the thing about it. It's available. So, yeah, man, we gotta.
You hear what he said about people not believing him? That was part of the catalyst. Doesn't that sound familiar?
It sounds familiar. It sounds very familiar. It sounds very familiar. And the thing about it is, like, they don't believe them, but the minute they actually see it happening, that's when the belief comes. That's when the truth. That's when it's like, okay, you know what? We need more of it, and can pass on and pass on. And I think that's why, when it comes to technology and people understand the power of it, whatever field of technology you're in, and you're really good at it, it's a game changer. And I think he's going to I'm going to follow his company, because I think this is I want to see where it goes, because like I said, you only see this in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to sit down there and talk to somebody about it, it's pretty impressive. So this
Dude,
is
the pandemic was the greatest thing that could ever happen to not just our company too, but that company, Scylla,
Mhm.
the pandemic, many companies.
Mhm.
The pandemic is the greatest thing because it forced them to then look abroad.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And then wow, bigger problems to solve. Holy
right.
moly, boy.
And it also people always thought that the technology we're talking about is over their head or cost too much, only available to the enterprise world, things like this. But when you sit down and talk to someone like us or to Albert and Skyla, it's more like, okay, is this for me? Is this for us? I can do this. It's a game changer, man. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. This is and having someone that has a technology background like him, and not only that, I might have to pay his company a visit just because they're here in Austin.
Oh yeah, I know. He's right across the street from each other, man.
I would be looking that up here in a bit, but
That's
it was
good
great.
stuff, man.
It was a great interview, but
Yeah.
we do. I definitely go to commercial because we got to talk about a little bit more about what we're doing on our end before we get going. But because I have a call here at the top of the hour, but yeah, man, it was great having him on there. Good call, that one for sure.
Should I throw by testimony or the affiliate video?
What's the testimony about?
No, let's not do testimony. So the affiliate video, we got one little thing from STA group still stuck in there. I saw. I just said I gotta look at these videos, man. It's all these.
That was affiliate video. It was STA in there. Yeah.
Yes. I was like, how's that in there?
But don't we have a testimony with one of our clients, a couple of our clients actually. But
testimony with Joe with
Canham Elmira, yeah.
Roll that.
Yeah, shoot it.
Cool.
Let's go.
I mean, I'm biased on this because I was the one dealing with her system and pulling data for the most part, providing all that information to people. So just not having to go into our system every day is amazing.
That's good.
Yeah. As I said, it just takes a lot of the mental workload off of someone, not having to deal with those problems all the time. But also, like, another example would be there is this great process, which was our second project basically with them, is like there's this one guy who implemented this amazing workflow for one of our value streams, and he's like, it's always up to date because he's using it to assess metrics, so he knows how to keep it because he built it and etc. But we wanted to expand it out to the other value streams, but that one guy can't maintain the entire system for all regions by himself. So it was kind of like we weren't able to get it across to other sites just like that, we'll just invest 10 more hours a week and get it done kind of thing. Like, no one took over that response because no one really understood it. So RPA enabled that option for us to just expand it out ourselves and have the maintaining side taken care of by RPA.
That's so good. I'm so glad for you too. I'm so glad for you.
Me too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was a great conversation. I mean, you talking about someone who you could see the stress come off of them, and you can see the smile on the face. Like, it was so much time that she had to spend that now she doesn't have to spend. I mean, it was like that. It's really amazing.
It's a game changer. I mean, I think that being able to see our clients have that first process automated, and once they see it, it's like, oh wow, we can do this. We're working on the third one with them right now after 2 months.
Right.
They're looking at the third one right now because they saw the value. All of a sudden, we took those, like she said, she doesn't have to log into the system anymore. All she has to do is show up to work, and it's ready for her.
So you guys were just like watching that. Basically, Amira had to log in and perform a whole bunch of different activities that was very, very, very time consuming, but she had to do it. Now that whole workload was taken away, and she was just talking about that. And now the other things that they can focus on, and growth is happening because of it. That's the part what I like talking about.
Right. Yeah, and she literally had to do it every morning first thing because she had to get that report out to everybody by a certain time. I think it was 9 o'clock. I had to be out there, right? So now she shows up to work 7:30 in the morning. It's waiting for her.
Love it.
She don't have to even log in.
Come on,
And
man.
then she linked us with, of course, the gentleman she was talking about the second process. They have 4 regions. They were doing it in one region, and the CEO was saying, "We want to duplicate this." He goes, "Oh, I'm not going to duplicate this, man. I'm not going to. That's a 40-hour job. If I'm spending 10 hours and I create it, someone that doesn't know is going to spend 15, 20 hours because they don't know it. We're going to spend, altogether, we're going to spend about 60, 80 hours a week doing this. That's 2 full-time jobs, right?"
Oh man.
Not only did we automate the process for him, we implemented it at all the regions that quick in less than a month. Less than a
Wow.
month. So, I think that's the great thing about RPA is that once they get an idea of what it can do, the sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. Actually, the sky's not even the limit. The sky is just a beautiful thing to look at, huh?
That's it. That's it. That's
Dude,
it.
that is incredible. I mean, I'm just like, like the technology itself. I love technology, but I'm always so fascinated by it. I'm just so fascinated by what we have the access to do
Mhm.
and how much of an impact it can be and how easy it can be done if you know what you're doing. We're talking about solving problems very, very quickly, but
Mhm.
massive 60-hour week problems. We're
Mhm.
talking about solving problems quickly, like with Albert, like literally stopping people from showing up and being hazardous in environments, like putting things in perspective, using technology, man. Oh, dude, I get
It's
pumped up
huge.
about this stuff.
And I think that's where a lot of businesses fail is that they don't understand technology. They understand software or
Mhm.
programming, but they don't understand technology and how to really use it.
Yep.
I guarantee you, there's so many businesses out there that are looking for a system like Albert's and like ours and like other
Mhm.
technologies, but they just don't know it's available and they don't know how if they don't know more, they don't know how to use it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They don't have the mind frame
So,
for it. Yeah. Yeah.
but like Albert's, he's grown so fast because it's like a kid in the candy store. You won't get one, you want to stay there and get more and more and
Oh
more and
man.
more, right?
Oh my
And,
goodness.
and and not only that, you tell the friends, you tell the people, hey, by the way, I got this, right? So that's the great thing about technology is that not only can it's available to everybody, doesn't matter how big or small you are, right?
Hmm.
But it can impact, it can make immediate impact.
Yep.
Just for example, if Skylar was to go into a stadium, right, and they say,
Hmm.
okay, you know what, we're going to the stadium. Just one time that a kid gets lost. Let's just say that they were kidnapped. Let's say a mother was taking their son to a game, but the father was there and he snatched them, and that's where he got him, right?
Hmm.
And the cameras were able to catch him and do that and be able to stop him, right? That right there
Mm.
pays for itself.
Yes.
You just saved a life,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You just saved a life. Pays for itself.
Man.
What sort of game changer is that? And that's just because you took the time to understand how to use it the best way possible for your business.
Thank you. You
That's it.
took the time to find the best way to use it for your business. Yeah. That would sum it up, dude. That
That's
would
it.
sum it right there.
That's it.
Right there.
Amen. So,
And so the discovery link, there's a link here in on where we at LinkedIn. I think it's going to be on Facebook too. That link there, learn more. It's a questionnaire. Take you about 5 minutes, literally, about 5 minutes, and you fill that out. This is for someone who's looking to take that mundane, repetitive work away, or looking to find out how or what. Maybe you don't really know. We can get in there and figure out really quickly. And the fastest route is filling out this 5-minute questionnaire because that's going to give us the insight, understanding of what you're dealing with, and then we'll be able to put something together to let you understand, give you a better mental framework of not only what you're dealing with, but how we can solve it, how we can automate it, then show you how much time you'll be saving because of it. We can do all this So the link is there. Fill it out.
Take care.
You know.
Yeah. And I think it's important that people just feel, I mean, even if you're like, okay, how can the automation help me? Right. If you fill out that link, you'll have a better idea of how it can help you directly. Because what happens is people ask us, well, how can you help us? And we explain it to them as best as we can. But even if you're in the same industry and everybody does, let's say, invoice processing, everybody can do it differently. He'll have a whole different program, a whole different logic, a whole different software, the whole bit. So everything is built differently. Right? Every process is done differently.
Customized, personally.
So we can give you an overall view of what that looks like, just so you can get an idea. But when you fill out that link, it's customized. The call is going to be customized for you and your business. It's not going to say, okay, this is what we can do. We did this for another client. It's going to say, this is what we can do. This is what we can do for you directly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and let me show you how we can go. You know, and we map it out. We design it out. We build a whole workflow so you can actually see the difference between it being manual and it being automated. And then you can show you the ROI, so the return on investment for those who don't know what ROI is. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is that when you fill out that questionnaire, you can customize the conversation.
Yes.
What's best for you and your company.
That's it.
Not based on what we've done for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not like it's it's going to take you a long time. It's like, fill it out so we can get down to it. And I guarantee after that call, you'll be wowed.
Everyone has been. There's no one that hasn't been actually yet.
It's crazy. Yeah.
There's no one.
It's so fun. You know, honestly, it's when they fill out the questionnaire and we know we're going to get on a call with them, we're excited because we already see the impact this can have on them, and we're just waiting for that reaction. Like,
oh, man.
whoa, and you know, once they start seeing their eyes, like, wow, it happens every time, and it's just a great feeling, because you know that they're going to be able to sit down and just relax and say, you know what, I can get this off my plate completely. This is amazing. So, pretty awesome.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Well, take us out. I know we had a call at the top of the hour for me and you, and that one got canceled. Another one got booked.
You got another one now? Okay. Well, that's cool, man. So we got the links in the comments, and reach out to us. Albert's, Scylla, the links are down there. Reach out to him. Reach out to the organization. Remember, your network is your net worth, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Your network is your net worth. You got to get out there and meet people. Add value to the marketplace, and value will come back.
Amen.
Until next time.
This is a great one, man.
Yeah.
Great podcast. So right on, brother.
Peace.
Welcome to the Business Empowerment Podcast, the show that keeps you in the know with what you need to know in business and technology, and for yourself so you can grow. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Rob House, and my co-host, Wilton Rogers, got insight for miles and miles. We'll give you what you need to know.
Get ready for the Business Empowerment Podcast.